When I was just a little boy, I asked my father, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? Is what he said to me.
Good evening and welcome to the Relishing Dead podcast, where we devour everything in Fromville. I'm Dawn.
I'm Barb.
I'm Carol.
And I'm Eliza.
So tonight I am so excited because this is everybody's favorite on From. I know it's my favorite, who plays Jade, David Alpay. Welcome, David.
Yay!
Hi, guys. What's going on?
Hey, thank you for being with us.
Yay.
It's my pleasure. And if I knew how to work Instagram, I would have posted somehow that I'm doing this. But there you go. It took me like a minute and a half. I could barely open the app. So I suck. Unlike Jade, I'm actually terrible at technology. So that's ironic. But hi, guys. It's so nice to finally meet. And listen, I know it's been a while. You've been trying to get me on your show.
Yep.
But, you know, I've been stuck in this town, and it's hard to get a signal out. But, you know,
Right.
hopefully the transmitter works for the course of the evening. I've got Ethan standing on the top of the tower with a, just stay there.
Stay there.
Quit moving. He doesn't listen.
David, one of the things that we like to do with our guests, if you've had a chance to look at any of the interviews we've done with the other Fromcasts, is we don't want to just talk about From. We want to talk about all things David. So we try to do a little background research on you and talk about other things that you've worked on in your career to introduce the audience to you as a whole person, as a whole actor. And so just to do some quick highlights for people who have only just now discovered who David Alpay is, you may go back and want to watch him. He's been in some wonderful Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yeah.
He was in Grease, The Rise of the Pink Ladies, a TV series. He was in The Amazing Tudors, The Borgias, if I said that wrong, Vampire Diaries, and like everybody else in the acting world, he was in Law and Order, but he was on the SVU with Mariska Hargitay. I think in order to be a SAG-AFTRA card holder, you must be on a Law and Order episode. So everybody in the audience, you've got to get on IMDb. You've got to go check out David's other things, and we're so honored to have you here with us tonight.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having me. This is fun. I think this is going to be a good one. I see a life-size David Alpay cutout behind you, Dawn.
Yes.
That's not creepy at all.
She sleeps with you at night. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Just
two
watching
other
over
men.
you, just standing by the bed.
Yeah, no, there's two other men in her room too, David. So don't feel too special. There's two other men.
Who else is there? Oh, look at
Andrew
that.
Lincoln, Rick Grimes.
There he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
And Josh Hamilton's probably on the floor somewhere.
Oh, he was too exhausted to stand.
Probably.
I think we have probably the most pressing question of the evening is coming from Barb, though, but we really probably need to get that cleared up and out.
You, David, were able to push Josh Hamilton and Andrew Lincoln out of the way for Dawn. But Dawn and I have been doing videos back and forth, and you turned out to be our ping pong ball.
Oh.
I remember saying that. We absolutely love you. We think you're funny. So we just want to know how your balls are doing.
Well, you know,
I told you, David, there's no filters. I told you. I warned you.
I thought you meant Instagram filters.
You said it. You said it, David, that you were the ping pong ball.
I'm going back and forth, sort of ping pong, bouncing around, you know, that sort of thing. Well, I've landed, if that's any indication of the bounciness of it all. We're here.
Well, we absolutely appreciate your videos. You are absolutely the best.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I spend absolutely zero time preparing for those. I think
And that's the best part.
To improvise, to make mistakes. It keeps it, you know, raw and original and not too polished.
And everybody loves them. Everybody loves those videos. They're just so funny and so just off the cuff. And you know what? If it's all improv, it doesn't show. It's like perfection, and they're the funniest things. They are fantastic.
Awesome. Happy to hear it.
So you had a pretty interesting upstart to your career and your education. At age 12, you won the University of Maryland, Baltimore's Brain Bee.
No, when I was 12.
Oh, you were 12?
No, I was like 17. God.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, they said you were 12, so that made you even smarter then.
No, well, I was in grade 12. I was in 12th grade.
Okay, maybe that's what it was then. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, it's all right.
And you were on your school's race team, boating race team. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was on the Dragon Boat racing team. Wow, you're going way back.
And now I saw two different things. I saw that you graduated from the University of Toronto. One said a computer science degree and one said a history degree.
Neither are accurate, actually. It's I got my degree in human biology and zoology with.
Oh wow! Okay.
And I went back for a master's in the history of med, but I left before I submitted my thesis, which you're not supposed to do if you want to graduate. So I never technically graduated from my master's. But my mom keeps reminding me I can always go back and finish that. So if there's ever a big break, for instance, I might do that, but I don't know. I don't know if I will. It was cool. I really liked school. I really liked Toronto growing up. It was a very interesting city. I went to an arts high school. I wasn't really in the arts program, but I had to do something, so I was in the orchestra. And then I went to college in Toronto as well, and UC Irvine. I was kind of splitting my time between Southern California and Toronto.
That's quite
I loved it. I love being in libraries. I love meeting people with crazy ideas and just it was a great time.
You are a very accomplished violinist, so I'm going to assume that on the show that is actually you playing.
It is me playing. Yeah.
Did you ever just sit around when not shooting and play?
Yeah. And that's something I do. I like to practice certain pieces that help me technically. I have a well-worn book of Bach sonatas and partitas that I've had since I was like 9 years old, and it's just dog-eared and written on, and I've taken it with me to every country I've filmed in, and it comes with me everywhere I go, and it's my exercise book, and when I have nothing else to do, it's my meditation. I play it to make sure my fingers are doing what I want them to do. And just, it takes me out of my head. Like it makes me focus so hard when I'm doing it, because I'm not by any means like a genius violinist or anything. But I love to practice and I love to play. And I love that it gives me a certain, like when people talk about meditating, the feeling that they describe feels a lot like what I feel when I'm playing violin. So it's it came about kind of interestingly. Like I hadn't asked for it. I think some of the other cast members saw something posted on YouTube and they were like, David plays the violin, and it got back to the writers and the directors, and they kind of found a way to like organically introduce it into the storyline. Not something that I pushed for, not something I was expecting at all, but it was fun to bring that color to the character and do something with him that was a little unconventional and unexpected. I think like on the surface, like when you see a character like Jade, I think you have certain prejudices and presuppositions about him, and then over time, what the beauty of the show is that we've had so many episodes to kind of break some of those ideas down and introduce new colors and tones. And
I saw a video of you at a convention. It was a Vampire Diaries convention, and you were playing on stage and you were playing rock and roll on your violin. Do you have a preferred genre of music? Is it classical that you prefer, or do you prefer other styles?
I just love good music, and it doesn't really matter what the genre is to me. Like, there's great rock and roll, and there's great classical music. There's also really bad classical music, and there's bad rock and roll. What I love to do, though, is play with good musicians who listen to each other. And lately, I've been really blessed to get to do some convention appearances and do these concerts on Saturday nights where we kind of like play music for the fans. And I've gotten to meet some really great musicians. One of them, Chris Lee, out of, I think he's out of Atlanta. He's in New York right now. He's on Broadway, and he is a phenomenal musician and pianist. And we do this little jam together when he comes to the cons and when I'm there. And it's like a little 5-10 minute spontaneous improvisation where we're just kind of, we've never like practiced before. He just kind of comes up with a little, like a pattern, and then I come into it. We kind of dance a little bit with that, and then it dissolves into usually a song the audience knows, and then we're just kind of playing that, and it's a really crazy fun thing to do. I mean, it's such a gift for me to be able to do it, and I hope, you know, it seems, I don't know, I think people seem to like it. So
did you and Scott ever do anything like that? Because since he's such a prolific, you know, guitarist as well, did y'all ever sit down and just jam together?
We haven't had a chance to do that yet. It's really interesting that you should mention that, but that doesn't mean we won't. So, you know, there's always season 4.
Do you play any other instruments?
Play a little ukulele. That's about it. I picked that up a few years ago because I wanted to be able to sing songs that I liked, which you can't really do on the violin because it's just jammed up against your chin. But the ukulele's fun. It's like, it's about the same form factor as a violin. It's about the same size, and my hands are used to like those small increments. So I'm better at that than like guitar. I've tried guitar, but it's too, you know, kind of spacey for me. So ukulele's fun. Triangle, I play the triangle, mean triangle.
I can see that about you.
Yeah.
I used to play a juice harp. Have you ever heard of a juice harp?
I've tried it, but I couldn't figure out how to do it, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be biting the metal with my teeth and then like flicking it really, really hurt. So years ago I was in when I started high school, I joined a little dance music folk dance company called the Canadian Dance Tapestry. I don't know if they're still around. They might be. And we were like really lucky. We got to travel around the United States, around Europe, going to different like folk music festivals. And our very first trip was to Asheville, North Carolina. I'll never forget it. That was my first trip anyway. They'd been together for years and years up until that point. But we did Asheville. We did the Peterborough Canoe Museum. We did Italy a couple times, and it was just incredible to see, you know, and meeting all these groups, all these musicians from around the world and all of their different instruments. But I remember I got a Jaws harp from when I was down in Asheville, and I quit after like a few weeks. I couldn't figure it out. But I also got castanets on that trip, and I spent like months just like walking around with castanets until I could get like my fingers to, you know, create that consistent rhythm. I still do it. I just haven't.
Did you guys go to Biltmore when you were in Asheville?
No.
Didn't get over there.
No,
yeah.
Unfortunately.
So you've had some really impressive roles, David, and one of the things that you said is acting is all about finding the truth of the character and then bringing that character to life. Of the characters you've played, is there one that you feel really?
Wait, I said that? I've said that?
You said that.
That sounds like a really smart thing to say. That's.
But was there any character that affected you more on a personal level that you had the opportunity to work and really develop?
Did you just call me a moron? What affected you, moron?
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're making me think what I said.
I'm joking, of course. There have been a lot of roles that have, that I don't know, that trigger something, that make you remember something from your personal life, or there's been a lot. There have been many. The trick sometimes is letting go of a role after the fact and not, having it linger for too long. But I think it's always great when you can bring something of your personal life to a role. I think it makes it definitely more authentic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm always suspicious of actors who are like, no, I created this from scratch. It's like completely original. I'm a genius at acting, and I can do things without, happening to my personal life. I don't believe it. I think that, oh, there's a fruit fly in my face. So yeah, I think we all borrow from our own experiences, and and then it's deciding how much to reveal, how much to withhold, what you want to keep for yourself, what do you want to share with the world. I think that's a delicate negotiation.
Did you create a backstory for Jade, or did they give you one?
There it is.
Backstory for Jade.
Cicadas, people. He's seeing cicadas.
Yeah. He's half cat. Okay. In a way, yes, and in a way, no. Ideally, you want to create a backstory for your characters, but they were very careful, not revealing too much to us, to sort of piece it out. And I didn't want to commit to a backstory which would later be sort of incongruous with what I was supposed to do. And then for me, I was lucky in this. I swear to God, it's like buzzing in my ear now. Okay, so I was lucky in that my character enters the town, and immediately thereafter, right, he trips and he falls and he hits his head, and he kind of like, he's out of it for a couple of days. I spend the first 2 episodes in a coma, essentially. And for me, I thought this meant, oh, this is interesting. This could be like Jade's fresh start. Like he comes to the town, and almost he's, detached from his history. He's this new person. So that gives me a little bit of wiggle room. And also, I just imagine that could also mean that he'd be a little bit erratic. He'd be a little bit easy to get angry, a little, temperamental. Mm-hmm. And I think it works for the character, and it also kind of like, it gives you a little bit of a glimpse into what he might have been like as a boss. Mm-hmm. His way or the highway kind of guy. Yeah. But that was about it. I just imagined him as sort of somebody who was used to getting his way, who was persuasive. He probably had surrounded himself with, smart people, and they created something together, but he was the one who took credit for it, like one of those guys. And when I imagined him, I felt a person who was just comfortable being himself unapologetically, someone who I'm gonna get him. No. Yeah. Anyway, but somebody who was so comfortable being himself in his own, in his own skin, that I pictured, and I've said it before, it's like he's somebody who just walks through his life as if in a bathrobe in his own living room. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No matter where he is or who he's talking to, you're in his house.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the tone that I think of, that I feel every morning when I wake up and I go to work to play Jade. And then there's certain little things that kind of nudge him out of that here and there, but that's his, that's the main root.
Right. Yeah.
Did you learn anything about yourself from playing Jade?
Yeah, I found out that I'll say it like this. I think COVID was a big reset for me. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like I'd been on a sort of, on a trail doing this work, acting for a while, and doing what I'd done, and it was working. I feel like there was a moment during COVID where everything just shut down and there was nothing but quiet and silence. And it, like, the train went off the tracks for me, and I sat and reevaluated. I got a chance to really sit in silence and figure out whether what I'd been doing all this time was working for me or whether it wasn't working for me. There was an experimental phase for me. I was living in Vancouver at the time. I was working on a bunch of projects, and I was like, well, the stakes are so low now because we're all going to die of plague. So why don't I just like try things that I normally wouldn't do? So I did an episode of Debris. I did a thing, you know, like Nancy Trio, like all these little things, but those were little, like, I said, okay, let's do it like theater. Let's get into this and like figure out what I'm doing, why I'm doing the things I'm doing, and let's see if we have a moment to like break things open and try different things. The biggest sort of thing that came out of that was the audition for Drum, and I just decided that I wanted to be whatever I did next. I wanted it to be expressive and big. Mm-hmm. From was just happened to come along at that time in that moment, and something I guess I did when I auditioned for Jack, when we did our Zoom call, something resonated, I guess, with him, and they went for it and they brought me on board. So yeah, I love it. That's kind of what I discovered about myself, is that, you know, there's this kind of, you know, the edge of space type of feeling of being right on the edge of a cliff, of not knowing if what you're doing is over the top sometimes or right in the pocket. But you do it like that younger version of myself said. It's like you try to find the truth of it and you try to bring that truth to life. Like you try to make it make sense. You don't do anything that's like false. And so like giving myself permission to explore the edges there is kind of what I discovered about myself, is that this is where I want to be right now anyway. And maybe that changes later. I don't know.
Hmm. Awesome. I'm glad you did.
Absolutely.
We all are.
We had Sean Majumber on last week, and he had actually auditioned for the role of Jade, and then they pulled him in for Father Cautry. Was Jade your one and done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we're going to go through and look at some of the things that David has done, and we're going to take a little trip down memory lane here. Your role as Ararat, was that your first major role, blasting on the scene as David Alpay into the world of film?
It was my very first film project. I'd done some theater in university, but that was like the first and the biggest thing. Yeah.
Had you done any type of background work or anything like that up to that point, or were you just like from theater straight to that role?
From theater straight to that role.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is on the surface very impressive, but I was very lucky. I had a really good group of people around me. Adam, who directed that film, was a huge supporter and a huge champion of mine, and really took care to, like, you know, kid gloves, like just really tender in his approach, and you know, there was no question too stupid that I could ask that, you know, people would. And his crew were all people that had worked with him multiple times, so it was like coming into a family, you know, and being the new member of a family, and it was a very calm and peaceful experience, and it was great. It was like the best first experience, the best possible.
And then you did Borgia's.
Yeah.
A couple of other things.
Oh, yeah.
Drop Dead Diva, which is filmed in Sonoy. Several episodes were filmed in Sonoy, Georgia, which is where they also filmed The Walking Dead, which is where we all met, was in Sonoy.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Peachtree City, I think we filmed that in.
Peachtree City.
Yeah, I remember golf carts everywhere.
That's where we have our camp at. That's where the camp is at every year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a cute town. Yeah, right on.
And then you did Red Rooms, and Red Rooms, that won like so many awards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a crazy amount of awards for that.
A lot
And
of
then, and then you did one of my personal favorite Christmas movies, I Sculpture Christmas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I want to know, did you actually get to sculpture the ice?
Yeah.
We did. When you see it breaking, that's me. When you see it falling apart and landing on people's feet, me.
Yeah.
We had a guy who came in, and that whole competition scene was shot the first day of filming. So we had a crash course. We had a gentleman come in who's like a professional ice sculptor, and he showed us how to use the tools kind of briefly. But they set it up for us. It was like they'd have a nice thing that was mostly sculpted, and they'd roll it in, and then we'd have. Of course, we're filming this in a heat wave in June in Vancouver, in Maple Ridge or something. So it's 1,000,000 degrees. The thing's melting faster than you can say, hey, action. And so we're sitting there kind of doing all this stuff. But we did get to play with the ice a little bit.
Nice.
And that was fun. I just remember like several times big chunks of ice falling and almost like falling on Rachel's toes. And that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
So ice sculpting is not a career that you want to go into, right?
No. What's really funny about that movie too is that I was on the plane to Vancouver to go film that, and the night before I had wrapped on another movie called Birdland, Peter Lynch's movie Birdland, which was a psychological, psychosexual thriller about a guy who's in jail, suspected of triple homicide. His wife is the detective who's like trying to solve the case. It's about surveillance. It's about, people doing bad things to each other, shot for, a month on night shoots. So you can't sleep during the day. You're up all night filming. Our budget was so small. Our budget was so tiny. This is how small our budget was. The walkie-talkies the crew had were so weak that they were simultaneously filming Suicide Squad, and you'd get Jared Leto coming up on our walkie-talkies going, so like, 200 meters away, they're shooting Suicide Squad out on the streets, and we can't even like send a signal out from a crappy walkie-talkie. It was brutal. It was like it wasn't just a movie about it. Like it was psychologically like very insane filming that thing. And then like the week before we finished filming, I got hired to do this job. So the night after I wrapped, I'm on a plane to Vancouver, and I got the script, and it's like the sweetest, loveliest Christmas. I'm like, I feel like a ping pong. I feel like a pendulum swinging.
Yeah.
Very different worlds. And that was my very first Hallmark. That was my initiation of Hallmark. So funny.
Yeah.
But that was, I did a few Hallmark movies. I did a few of them.
And then you did
Aw.
one of my personal favorite roles that you ever did
Yes.
was on the Tudors. Don said, I'm watching David Alpay on the Tudors. Have you watched it? I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, I have, honey. Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how curly my hair is.
Look at how little you were. You were so young. So
I
cute.
must have been 26 then when I did this.
Wow.
That's such a great role.
Yeah, that was fun.
Absolutely
Yeah.
love. Look at ladies. Look at him.
Look at him.
Drink it in, ladies.
I know.
Yeah, pre Santa beard.
Yeah.
Now I can play Santa in the Hallmark movies. Go.
There you go.
At least, yes. And then you did a movie called They're Watching, and our podcast friend Carrie Gonzalez was on
Oh,
there
I love her. She's so
as
cool.
well. And we love Carrie.
Yes.
Absolutely love her.
Yeah. She's been on several times with us.
Mm-hmm.
We had Carrie and I met up in Vancouver a couple times, and one time my mom was in town too. She was in Vancouver for business, and the three of us had Nando's chicken with peri peri sauce. I'll never forget it. Carrie's the best. I love her.
Well, we love Carrie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this is the role that, a lot of our watchers are just over the moon for when you were in Vampire Diaries. Because,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's Vampire Diaries is a huge, huge show for a lot of our watchers as well.
Yeah, it's a great show. It still stands up. People still love it. It had so many spin-off series, and
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And I think Covington still does a lot of stuff down there to bring fans into the town and things like that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
And they have their
right.
conventions and everything. And then we finally get to the role that everybody has been waiting for. And there's
I see Scott and I'm instantly like,
I'm the same way. I am the same way.
Like Namaste. It's like right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So do you prefer the beard or no? Do you not prefer the beard? Do you like all of that, or like what's your preference?
I think it works for the character right now. And it's just, it takes so long for me to grow that I'm not, and we don't really know when we're coming back yet. So like I'm loath to chop it down and then show up with like some like weird intermediate thing. My biggest fear is somebody saying, "We've got to make a prosthetic beard for Alpay." Like that would be. It always looks so bad. Like it looks so bad. No, you have the biggest budget in the world. Fake beards always look so fake.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I like half my diet these days is mustache. Like anytime I go to eat anything, it pushes mustache into my mouth, and then I'm like, and the beard is, it's always kind of like, you know, whenever I FaceTime with somebody, I realize that there's like, it just looks wrong. Like half of it's in one direction and the other.
Hey, Dawn works at Bath and Body Works, and she can hook you up with some good beard serum.
There you go.
Well, I haven't found one that works. I'm using a couple different ones like balms and creams and everything, and it just
we have a beard oil that's really good.
Yeah, for people like me, for really like it's like Brillo over here. It's really coarse. But you know what's funny is you forgot Grease: Rise of the Pink Ladies, and you probably couldn't.
We didn't forget. We mentioned it earlier when we were talking.
You mentioned it, but you didn't bring up the photo and like do it. And then he did Grease.
You're slacking, Carol.
Like, I pick and choose. I pick and choose. Okay.
I love that. That was so much fun. I'm still butthurt that they took that offline so soon after they aired it.
Yeah.
And their excuse was they wanted some accounting thing. But what a shame! It was so fun. The kids, all of us, we had so much fun filming it. The music was incredible. The dancing was amazing. So much talent on screen, and then it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
Like it never happened.
Right. Well, I'm a Grease 2 fan. I love them all. So
Yeah.
One
of the ladies, one of you gals, said this a couple of weeks ago, and we've mentioned it to everybody since, that we want an episode of From done as a musical.
Yeah, I've said that too. I think it'd be really funny.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't have to be funny. It could just, not tongue in cheek, but like, what if it was actually kind of like a small opera? Like, what if it was, singing and like it doesn't have to be campy. It could be really interesting, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe in black and white, and that would be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I mean, there's different versions of that, right? It's like there could be a black and white episode, there could be a musical episode, there could be both, there could be an animation episode. I mean, I've been rewatching Community. You could do anything. You could do anything. I mean, the show definitely lends itself to going back in time and seeing, moments, windows of what life was like in town before the rest of us showed up. Who knows what they'll do in season 4? There's endless possibilities. Go really like I feel like the end of season 3, like a bomb went off, and it could go in any direction right now. And I'm curious to see what they come up with.
Yeah. We've had people that have been on. What is your theory of what's actually happening?
Well, I know my theories are wrong because I've like asked John and Jeff, and they're like, "That's a great idea, but you're absolutely wrong." I don't know. I'm so like I've second guessed myself so many times now. I've stopped thinking about it. I think it makes my job way easier, to be honest, when I stop wondering what's going on and just be in the moment. I think the entire objective of them withholding critical information, like where this is going, is to force us to be in the moment and to stay in the moment. And nothing is more in the moment than, being terrified that you're going to lose your life to a monster, trying to figure out how to survive the night, trying to figure out a way out of it, and all the while, while trying to overcome, the death of your best friend, and this and that, and all the other mess, and the head injury, and all these things. So he's in the moment. He has to force himself to be in the moment.
Right.
We had Liz Moy on last month, and she said that you were probably one of her favorite actors on the show to work with, next to Ricky. She just loved you and considered you her second son on the show.
Yeah, we bonded on the show. It just happened organically. Like we would shoot these group scenes, and I would find myself like just standing next to Liz, and then out of that came this kind of like, the sheepish son and the kind of the mom this weird dynamic started to evolve out of it. And then all of a sudden, when I got episode 10 of season 1, I just remember, oh, this is why he's attaching himself to her. It's all spelled out here. Like the writers caught what we were doing and found a way to like incorporate it. It was beautiful. It was, you don't get to do that when you're just shooting something linearly and you don't see what you're shooting. But as it's an iterative process filming television, like you shoot something and then you have to watch it. You shoot the next thing, and then you write the next thing, and then you watch that. And you pick things up, and then you start writing in those directions. And then this very interesting, organic, like fractal sort of emerges, which I think is kind of like we got trapped in that beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Really, really lucky. Yeah, Liz is great. Liz is such an interesting person and such a curious, explorative mind, always looking for new things to learn, new things to try. Really inspiring, actually. I'll be honest. Really cool.
Well, do you watch the series?
I'm sorry?
Do you watch the series?
Yeah, of course.
Good.
I just absolutely love, and I call it a love story because I think that Jade and Tianchen had a love story, not in the carnal way, but in the familial way. Yeah. And when we lost that character, it was just a beautiful conversation that Jade and Kenny and Christy have in the hut between the three of them when they're talking about Tianchen, and how Kenny says that that what is it about, she wouldn't have pestered you or something like that if she didn't like it. Yeah. And I just love that storyline, and I think our viewers and the fans of the show felt the same way, and it was just a beautiful organic thing, and I needed to touch on that because I just thought it was gorgeous.
Oh, thanks, Carol. Yeah, that's an interesting moment. The three of us spent some time on that scene. We worked on that scene for a couple of weeks before we shot it. We were trying to figure out what it was about that scene, and I think we came to the idea that Kenny is allowed to grieve. Christy is allowed to grieve. They knew her longer. Kenny's obviously her son. They have permission to grieve, and the town allows them that space. Jade isn't, and no one thinks that he should, but he has this connection with her that nobody maybe saw, nobody understood, nobody was there for.
Right.
So he has this singular pain that he can't express because nobody wants to hear it, and maybe he doesn't feel like he deserves to feel it. It's a really interesting color. Yeah, it was heartbreaking.
And I know the girls can agree with me, but the show and the writers, the acting has just captivated like the TWD community, the fans. We absolutely love it. And we just connect with those characters and we care. And it's really special. I just want to know, this show is so special. You just don't even know yet. Like it's going to catapult. I know that you all can agree and give your input, girls, but I mean, everybody is just in love with this show.
It definitely helps that you guys talk about it and you have podcasts about it and you're getting the word out. That's great. I mean, sometimes like you don't know. You don't know what you're doing, if it's reaching an audience, if it's touching people the way that you intended to. You just kind of take this ball and you throw it, and a year later it lands, and you're not sure where it lands or if it lands. But the fact that you guys love it and you're talking about it and you're creating community for it and space for it is really cool. So thank you.
I mean, that we fell in love with the characters, and like Dawn said, we're falling in love with you guys because you're actors. Unbelievable. The storyline's great, but you guys as actors, you draw us in.
Yes.
You know,
And the Walking Dead fandom is
better.
huge. And right now, tonight, we've got someone from Mexico and someone from Peru in our live chat.
Oh, wow.
And the Walking Dead family has adopted From into their fandom, and it's blowing up everywhere. And when we found out that the owners of the camp, Oscar and Casey Rodriguez Miller, had brought or are bringing, Scott to this camp event, we all had many orgasms.
Not many. Many.
Not many, but many. Yeah. And,
congratulations, ladies.
And we're excited for the opportunity because we realize that so many of the cast members are Canadian, which is phenomenal. And for some of them, this is kind of their biggest breakout role. Some of the younger actors coming out, and so we're trying in every area, telling all these conventions, you've got to get the From members, you've got to get From, and get on Cameo, because we will help you with retirement if you get on Cameo. We'll buy those sons of bitches. Yeah,
definitely. And I've tried to convince Harold, my man behind me, because I'd buy one every day from him.
So thinking about the past 3 seasons that we've had, for you, what was your most difficult episode emotionally and physically? So it could be 1, it could be 2.
Well, I mean, physically, who wants to be standing in the cold at 3 a.m? And it's just, we had a couple of those days. That was just hard. That takes a couple days to recover from. Emotionally, I think there was. I think of all the things, of all the madness and all the misunderstanding and all of the isolation that Jade feels, I think maybe the hardest thing that he's had to do was open up about his grandmother. I think with Tian Chen. It was a weird thing because he's being very vulnerable in that moment. Yeah. But also he's pretty sure she can't understand him. And so maybe that's why he can open up to her. Maybe he's wrong.
Right.
But I think she understood him. And I just remember really wanting to get that moment right, and not fuck around with it, and not bullshit my way through. Like, I needed to feel it, so I needed to go to a place, and so that was a hard day, but I think it worked out. I think it's a really touching moment.
It's a beautiful scene. It's a beautiful scene. Absolutely.
Can we just talk about Tom for a second? So,
great. Have you had him on your show?
No, we have not. Reed hasn't come on yet, but we are working on that. So we had Sean on last week, and we were talking about the fact that Kotri is, that Boyd is seeing Kotri and having conversations with him.
Yeah.
Jade is seeing Tom all the damn time. And this poor guy, I'm sorry, there's snow on the ground. You're up in Canada. It's got to be freezing. Poor Reed, I can't even imagine how cold he must have been just sitting there wiping a glass the whole time.
Yeah.
The question that I have is that when we were talking...
Is so manly? I haven't seen it.
I don't know how.
He was going that way. I was in like 5 layers. I had like 3 thermal underwear sets on. One of them had like wires running through it. I had a battery pack. I'm wearing a jacket. I'm wearing like 2 pairs of socks. I'm freezing my ass off. I turn around. This guy's in like a t-shirt, polishing a glass. I'm like, dude.
You're pumping hot water through coils through your suit, right?
Yeah. There's a whole thing.
No, well, the question is that I asked Sean if he thought that Khatri was, if he was a good thing for Boyd, a bad thing for Boyd, and my personal opinion is Khatri is kind of neutral. What do you think of Tom is to Jade? Do you think that he's a good, the point of, a positive thing, or is he pointing him towards a negative, or what do you think about Jade seeing Tom all the time?
Tom is just, he's so annoying.
Tom's just Tom.
He tells me what I already know, right? And then Jade does what he should have done in the first place, which is what Tom tells him to do. It's so weird. He's kind of like his conscience, and it's great. I love the way Tom plays it, and I love the way Reed plays Tom, and it works. Like there's something from the very first moment. I just wanted, I just wanted the dynamic to be, oh fuck you again, not oh my god, it's a talking ghost. It's
right.
It's oh, this is so annoying. Like, why won't you go away? Like, leave me alone. Let me just and it works. It's great. He's a little pest, and he's like a little fruit fly that flies around your face when you're trying to do a podcast. But he's got a point. He's always right. And Jade learns something every time. It's perfect. It's so well written. I love the moments with Reed, and I look forward to every scene that we have together.
Yeah, he's pretty fantastic. He is fantastic.
I think we're going to start a drinking game to hit every time Jade screams when he sees Jasper. We're going to take a shot.
Yeah. That was one take. We did that one take. We were supposed to shoot the scene in another room. I was like prepared. I'm supposed to go to the closet and open it up, and Jasper's supposed to be there. And then they're like, we're going to shoot it upstairs, and Jasper's just sitting next to you. So we did it a couple times where Jasper yells at me, and then one take I was just like, nah. And it's great. It's like, just fuck off, man. You puppet. Yeah. Anyway.
Do you have a fear of ventriloquist dummies? I mean, or have you developed one?
No. Jasper's the only one I see. I don't see any other ventriloquist dummies, I think. No, I haven't run into any.
Were you able to take anything home from the set yet?
No.
No. Eyes on anything?
No.
He's got a Jasper in the back room somewhere.
Yeah, right. That's what she said.
Yeah.
So of all the cast members on there, is there anyone that you would like to be able to have more scenes with?
By the way, while we're on the topic of Jasper, I did mention to Jack when we were shooting that scene, is it just me, or does this puppet bear a striking resemblance to Terry O'Quinn?
Yeah.
And are you setting something up? Like, what's going on here? But nothing. No, he was like, oh yeah, I guess it kind of does. So yeah, I mean, that was just me, but I'm glad you guys think so too. And I'm
Don't put anything past those guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're super tight-lipped about everything. Like, you never know.
So there's a question I always ask all the cast that has been on. If you could bring any character from any TV series to Fromville, who would you bring?
Mr. T.
Oh my gosh.
He's like just no nonsense. He'd be amazing. He'd be so much fun. Just for one episode, and then the monsters get him. I don't know. I mean, gosh, like Harvey Specter wouldn't last too long. I don't know. What do you imagine? Who would you bring to
Well,
Frontier?
Sean Majumber had the winning answer. He said Pee Wee Herman. And he'd be like going up to the monsters going, ha, got your nose.
I've always thought, and this is just me, I've always thought that every primetime show would be better with a Muppet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just one Muppet. Nobody addresses the fact that it's a Muppet. It's assumed to be a normal character like every other character on the show, but one of the characters is a Muppet. It could be Fozzie Bear. It could be Kermit. It could be any of them. Miss Piggy. Gonzo.
Yes.
Just
Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah.
That would be.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to see Miss Piggy get into it with Donna. That would be fun. Yeah. that would be pretty intense.
Oh my God! Wait a second. What if this is like a live action adaptation of the Muppet Show?
There you go.
Ooh.
And I'm Oscar.
And I'm Oscar.
Oh.
And who's who? And then you can just start like, who's Scooter?
That's Kenny. Kenny Scooter for sure.
Who's Scooter?
Kenny.
Kenny Scooter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Boyd is Kermit.
Boyd is Kermit. Yes, he's trying to run the show. Nobody will give him a break.
Exactly.
Just follow the rules, but you guys are all a bunch of Muppets. Yeah.
Yes.
Victor's Fozzie.
Victor's Fozzie?
I would say Elgin is going to be, Elgin would be Precious, the big furry beastie.
The big beastie thing.
Okay.
Big beastie. Gossip? No,
What about Quan the King Crab? Did you guys ever see Muppets from Space? Quan?
Oh, yes.
He's like a new Muppet. I love him. He's great.
Pepe the King Prawn is my favorite. I like him. Pepe the King Prawn.
Yeah, Pepe. Why did I think it was Quan? Yes, Pepe.
Pepe King Prawn.
That was way off. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But I want to say Randall would probably be Rizzo the Rat.
Not Sam Eagle?
No, I don't think he's Sam the Eagle. I think Ellis would probably be more of Sam the Eagle.
What is that?
Or, I want to know who's the Swedish chef. Bert the Perk.
What?
Who's the Swedish chef?
Oh.
Like Vert de Ferk.
Reed. That'd be Reed. That'd be Tom.
Tom. I don't know. Yeah. Mary is Janet for sure.
Who is?
Mary. Christy's girlfriend.
Oh, yep.
Muriel.
Marielle.
Yeah, Janet. She would be Janet. Like, wow.
Yeah. Oh God, we've got our own ensemble.
Don't get me started on the Muppets, man.
I think we cracked the show. I think this is it. I think we've solved the biggest riddle.
Oh, Danny Wells says Jim is Bert.
Yes.
Then who's Ernie?
I don't know.
Probably Tabitha. Just put them together. Just Bert and Ernie right there. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Funny. Oh my God, this went downhill real quick.
Well, who's Donna?
But Dawn, you have your little Jade doll, right? And you could just.
I think Donna would be
That's
Dr.
right. I've seen the Jade doll. I've seen a picture of this on the internet. That's amazing.
I sent it to you.
Yep.
You're going to send it to me?
I sent it to you. You shared it on your
Oh,
Instagram.
you sent it to me. Yes, the photo. That's right. I shared it because it's so good.
Yes.
Mine is Smiley.
Yes.
That is Smiley. That's so good. Do you guys have any more? Who else do you have?
I've got 3.
Do you see
Let's see.
We've got a Donna and a Boyd somewhere too.
We got a Victor with the lunchbox.
Yeah, we got a
that's
Victor.
fabulous. That totally looks like Scott. Oh my God.
So there's Victor,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's 2 Victors. Okay.
and he's got his little lunchbox.
Uh-huh.
Here's Donna.
Yes. Oh my God.
She's got her
that's
her
amazing.
axe.
She's got her axe. She's about to go crazy on the floorboards, people. Watch out.
And there's
Boyd.
With his bell.
With his bell. Action figure Boyd. This is amazing. Bubbleheads are like a thing of the past, and now it's just crochet dolls. I love it.
Yes.
Who makes these? Who makes these?
We invest in all this stuff. We wear we got the talisman shirts.
I got the cat shirt.
You got the cat shirt
in pink too.
Perfect.
Little upset.
Yeah.
Lisa, do you want to tell him what we do at the end of the show?
So I'm sure you are familiar with James Lipton inside the actor studio.
Yes. If I was a tree, what kind of tree would I be?
Yes, when we love to do the ending questions that James Lipton always did with his guest.
Okay.
And we've added a few.
Okay.
So first of all, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I know we've been playing a cat and mouse game to get you on.
Yeah.
But we're so glad you're here with us.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
So, Carol, do you want to lead us off?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. So this is the most important question you're going to be asked the whole night.
Libra.
That works, I guess.
What's the question, Carol? Ask me anything.
Okay. All right, David. I want to know, and I want you to shout it to the rooftops. I want the whole world to hear.
Okay.
What your favorite curse word is.
Oh, gosh.
Come on.
You know, it's funny because in real life, I don't swear that much. I think it's.
That's okay.
Yeah. Oh, darn it. God, shucks. 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 Oh, okay. Shucks.
Now, David, when you stub your toe at 3:00 in the morning, I know that shucks is not the word that comes out of your mouth.
No, you're absolutely true. That's absolutely correct. It's probably the F word. Look at child right now. Okay, what's next? What's your favorite curse word, Carol? What do you like to say?
Yeah.
Does that feel good? Does it feel good to say that?
It does. Yeah. It's very empowering.
It is. It's very fricative. My English teacher in high school used to say that. It's got all the good sounds, the f and the k. I think if it had an R in there, it would apex. Frick. Well, Battlestar Galactica, they used to say frack, right? Wasn't it frack?
It's frack.
Or frick.
It's funny that you know. Yeah, it's funny that you know Battlestar Galactica. Good on
such
you.
a good show.
I do challenge you.
Battlestar Galactica. Do you remember that?
And so was Rick Springfield.
Yes. Dirk Benedict.
The singer?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
He was in the very first episode. He was in the very first episode, and he played Adama's son.
Yes, Adama's son.
He played Apollo's little brother.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And he died. Spoiler alert.
Wow.
Spoiler alert.
Jesse's girl, Rick Springfield.
Yes.
Battlestar Galactica?
Yes, sir.
That's crazy. Okay. All right.
I challenge you to, next time you see Scott or talk to him, ask him what his favorite curse word is.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it again online because everybody's heard me say it, and it's the funniest damn thing I've ever heard.
And he even has a shirt.
He has a shirt that, yes. So ask him about his favorite curse phrase. Anyway.
Okay. I will.
Okay. So other than bad words.
Yeah.
What is your favorite word?
I don't know if I have one. I think I love them all equally. I try to use them all with equal abandon. What is my favorite word? I don't know. Cookies. I love cookies. Cookies is a great word. It's a funny word, and it's a delicious thing to eat. So
there you go.
Is it that it's both a ridiculous word and a delicious treat? You know?
I love cookies. What's your favorite cookie?
Right now, oatmeal raisin.
Yes.
Yeah, because I kind of feel like it should be chocolate chip, except so often people can't quite get the mix right, and it's either too sweet or it's too, chocolatey or something. Or it's too greasy. Like it's hard. It's hard to ask for a chocolate chip cookie and get something, perfect every time. But you can't really fuck up an oatmeal raisin cookie.
No, you can't.
So satisfying.
You can't really fuck up an oatmeal raisin.
Yeah.
No, you really can't. It's really hard to do. I mean, There's a what am I looking at? Rick Springfield and
Rick Springfield.
Okay, guys, this is like Battlestar Galactica. This is like the old Battlestar Galactica from like the 80s.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
No, I'm talking about the new one.
With Edward James Olmos?
Yes.
No. We're going OG, baby. OG.
Yeah, we're OG.
Oh, wow, crazy.
Always the original.
I haven't even seen that one.
Yeah.
What you were born in what, 80?
Yeah.
So we're old.
Yeah, we're old.
Yeah.
Are you? I can't tell. I'm age blind, which means it's really difficult for me to tell.
That's good. That's good to tell a woman that.
Okay. There you go.
All right. So what's your least favorite word if you have one?
Oh, they say that the word moist is like generally
I don't have a problem with it.
like despised word. Moist.
Moist.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't mind it.
Ricky and Chloe, that was their favorite word.
Moist?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wrong with them. I mean,
That's all
that
right.
would be my favorite word. One of those other words out there. Facetious is a great word, by the way. Do you know what's really special about the word facetious?
It has all of the vowels in
Order.
No, yeah, vowels all in alphabetical order, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. A lot of people, that's like surprising.
That's right.
It's the only word in the English language that has that little feature. So it's a great word.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What's my least favorite? We're talking least favorite word. Homework. I hate homework. So
That's a good one. I
it's
like
just that.
that.
Usually means I'm in for like a terrible night. Homework. You have homework tonight. By the way, the fruit fly is on my water bottle. I'm going to get it this time, okay?
Right.
What?
You got it.
Ah!
Yay!
Fucker got away. Oh, fuck badgers. All right. Fuck this shit. I have a racket. I have a special electric racket. I'm going to come back.
Yes.
I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Okay, lady.
All right, Dawn.
What's your favorite sound?
I know my least favorite sound is the sound of rain.
Really?
Yeah. There used to be these big storms when I was younger, and we had this big bay window in the back of the house overlooking the ravine in Toronto where we lived. And in the rainstorms, I would watch the trees bend, and the rain would hit the window, and it would hit the roof, and I would sit there like a little kid, and I have, I guess, what you call anxiety attacks. Like I would just sit there kind of terrified by it. And now when I hear rain, it takes me back to a terrible place. So I know, and it's ironic because a lot of like those soothing sound machine noises try to mimic rain, and it's like I just want to smash the machine. But I like ocean sounds. I like the waves. I think that's really nice. Static is a nice sound for me. I like the sound of static, which is odd. I like silence a lot, which is not uncommon for musicians. A lot of musicians, when you ask them what they're listening to, it's usually I'm not listening to anything because I don't want to listen to music. So silence is nice. Yeah, that's really interesting. What is my favorite sound? Let me think about that one. That's a really good question.
And then your least favorite sound, you already answered that.
Rain. Ugh, it's the worst.
And then I kind of throw in a question. If you had a birthday party and you could invite 3 musicians or bands that are alive, who would you invite?
Oh God. Yeah, but then I'd be like so starstruck. I'd be like, you wouldn't be able to enjoy my birthday party. The question should be, if you had a birthday party and you could invite 3 people that you kind of like, who would they be? Oh man, I'd want to meet Bach. I think it'd be so cool just to sit with him and talk to him and ask him how he came up with so many amazing things and ideas and what he was thinking and what inspired him and what he wished he hadn't done or what he wished he had still time to do. And musicians, oh God, John Legend would be amazing at a birthday party. Are you kidding? He'd be so great. It'd be so cool. Oh my God, Django Reinhardt. That'd be so great. maybe he could give me a concert. Just a little bit of gypsy guitar. It'd be so cool. Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, look, the cat.
Trying to cover his booty.
Okay.
Okay. What turns you on? That's the end of the question.
Just really smart people.
Okay.
Intelligence.
Such a turn on to me. And yeah, just being around really smart people just makes me feel safe. I don't know what it is. And the opposite of that is also true. So yeah,
Okay.
big turn on.
What turns you off?
Yeah, just basically the opposite of that, I guess. Just constantly
Ignorant.
No, yeah, or ignorance is one thing. It's the unwillingness to have an open mind. I don't know, does that qualify as ignorance, or is that just because ignorance for me is like to me, I define ignorance as like a lack of like information or a lack of knowledge. Or is ignorance more an attitude?
True.
What do you guys think? What do you think?
I think there's a fine line.
I think it's a fine line. It's an active ignorance. I can't stand when people refuse to grow and people refuse to learn.
Yeah.
That to me is you're actively choosing to be ignorant, which to me is intolerable.
Incurious, closed off to the world. The world is such a big, beautiful, amazing place. So many things that are going to challenge how you see the world and how you think about the things that you think about. Like, do you want to be in that place where you're learning things and challenged and struggling to comprehend? That's a beautiful space.
Right.
One thing I took away from my when I was studying history of science was, science is the search. It's not the dogmatic answer. The minute it becomes dogmatic, it fails on a fundamental level, and the institution falls apart. It's always presenting a theory and then challenging that theory and questioning whether that's still true. Here's new information. Does it still work? No. We abandon it. We pick a new theory. We find something new. The minute is, well, this is the truth and this is the only truth, that ceases to be science. That's something else. And I do meet a lot of people in the world who are just so confident in what they think they know to be the truth. It must be very soothing to think that way, but also so small, The world is so much more than that.
There is a certain attraction to people who want to learn, as opposed to people who are
seekers,
resistant to knowledge, resistant to expanding their thoughts.
Yeah, certainly I can say that my favorite people in life that I've met in this journey are the people who are seeking and learning and asking questions and curious, and not just working on received wisdom, but just actively trying to question it, and and learn something new and evolve. I think that's great.
Yeah. My final one is the one that I throw in, and it's, if you had a dinner party and you invite 3 actors or actresses, dead or alive, who would they be?
I would love to meet Emma Stone.
Wow.
I would love to have dinner with Meryl Streep. I would love to have dinner with Steve Carell. I would love that dinner. And like, not one of them do you ever feel like they're spinning a lie, that they're false. They always just seem so lived in their characters, and it's so beautiful to watch. Like, you feel like you are seeing them, even when they're playing really kind of like over the top characters. It still feels genuine, and I think that speaks to very interesting character, very interesting person.
Thank
Those
So
are
I have a question, David. Do you know this guy, Paul Peters, in the comments?
No. Where do you see comments, by the way?
All right. Well, we have comments in our thing, and there's someone that's been commenting, and his name is Paul Peters. And so I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't somebody that you knew that was giving you a hard time or what. So
Because we're going to be deleting his comments because they're kind of rude and sassy. But if he was a friend of yours that was just giving you a jerk, then we would leave him. But
No, I don't know who that is.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So my questions, what occupation other than your own would you enjoy trying?
Man, I don't know. That's a really good question. Like, I love baking, but I have a friend who's a baker, and it's really hard work. So I wouldn't, I don't know. I think like every profession out there is like really hard, and you need a lot of time and patience to like hone your craft and hone your skill. Having said that, I don't know. Maybe tour guide for Dave.
Oh, I love tour guide.
I did that.
Where you're just going around town making stuff up. I think that'd be really cool.
I did that for 9 years.
You did?
Yes.
What was your favorite thing about it?
Meeting the people.
Yeah.
I was a tour guide at Graceland in Memphis and at Biltmore Estate in North Carolina. That's the reason I had asked about that. So I loved it, meeting people from all over the world and learning. I had to learn a lot of, especially at Biltmore, history, architecture, art history, mechanical, electrical. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun.
And did you come to the Graceland job because you were like a huge fan of Elvis, or was it just kind of like, oh, it's just a job and, No,
my first job ever was at Opryland in Nashville at an amusement park. And then I went from there to Graceland, from Graceland to Biltmore to Yellowstone National Park. And
whoa. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and now I've all grown up and have a real job. So, it was a lot of fun. I kind of got into that hospitality groove and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fun to get to meet different people and share stories and find out where they're from and what brought them to a certain place. Like,
and got to meet a lot of famous people, a lot of big famous people, and really enjoyed it. But I was Elvis. I did play Elvis in drag a couple of years ago.
You did?
And Carol was my Priscilla.
Did you color your hair?
Oh, it was black. Oh, yeah, because I'm Snow White, and I did it black, and Carol was my Priscilla, and so we were the bells of the ball. I never broke character.
Nice.
So what job other than your own would you never want to have to do?
Oh, God. I don't know. There's some really hard ones out there. I don't know. There's like sewage maintenance. I don't know. Like there's some really awful jobs that I wouldn't want to do. I guess, yeah. Or like working in a slaughterhouse. Like, it'd be so hard. Yeah, I couldn't do that.
No.
And if you were stranded on a deserted island, what 3 items would you have to have with you?
Oh, okay. Like a magnifying glass so you can start fires.
Smart.
I don't know. I mean, sure, say there's coconuts and rocks. You can kind of get into the coconuts, so you don't need anything like that. I don't know. It would be nice to have some solitude. So I kind of like look forward to the desert island scenario. Magnifying glass for sure. You're surrounded by ocean, so you might not have fresh water. So how could you desalinate water? You need to boil it. So some kind of, you could, you have the fire, you can boil the water. You need something to boil the water in, and then a distillation apparatus so you can get fresh water. So some kind of tubing. So, I mean, if you have bamboo on the island, you're fine. You could easily do that. So you don't have to worry about water. So we're good for food and water. And now it's just entertainment. Maybe a book, I guess. A book on how to survive living on a deserted island.
There you go.
And and maybe a satellite phone, just in case I want to get off the island.
Just in case, yeah.
I can like send some coordinates or something.
Wow, that was the most jadest answer
Yes.
ever.
Absolutely.
That was, if there was
Absolutely.
a category of Jade answers,
Yes.
that would be jadest of the Jade answers ever.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last question is, if heaven exists, what do you hope to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Guess everybody misses around the corner.
Oh, that. Yeah. There
Yeah.
you go. There you go.
I love it.
Yeah.
We love you, David.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you.
This is fun.
Thank
We
you.
love you. And thank you. And anything new and upcoming we should be watching for?
No.
No.
No. I'm happily taking some time off right now, and we're excited. We found out we've got a 4th season.
Yes, so are we.
We have a lot more story to tell, so this is a good thing. And as soon as we find out when we're going to shoot it, you guys will find out too.
Whoa.
And then hopefully we can get it out sooner than 2026. That seems very far away.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
We hope to see more of you guys at conventions so we can come up to you and give you big hugs.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Great.
Well, thank you again for being with us. We hope that you can come back and join us again.
Thank
Thank you, David.
you guys so much. Happy holidays.
Happy
Have fun.
holidays.
Have safe travels. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, he was wonderful.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Absolutely wonderful.
So sweet. Yes.
All
So
right,
we have
guys.
anything coming up? No.
I don't know. Do we?
No, I think we're just going to kind of start thinking about maybe past episodes,
Mhm.
past movies, old movies, actors we know and love. So
Mhm.
maybe even do some David Alpay Hallmark.
There we go. Christmas ring is my favorite. So
There you
good.
go.
Yes.
Well, we
This
don't
girl
have-
don't watch. This girl don't watch Hallmark. I just watched it for David because this is serial killer 24-hour, 48-hour kind of
That's
girl
right.
documentaries.
Yeah. Well, Barb is going to be heading out.
Yes.
She's got an excursion she's going on. So we will have, a week without you, Barb?
Mhm.
Yeah.
2 weeks?
One.
Okay. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, he was fantastic.
Yes. So sweet. So we like to thank our Patreons and financial supporters of our show. Destiny Laura Moore, Terry and Kay Collier, Sandy Morrison, Tracy Killen Stokes, Ben and Melissa Gilbert, and congratulations, they have a new granddaughter. Angela Blythe, Marianne Craig, Brandon Cade, Jason Cohn, Wesley and Sarah Hale, Randy Nickel, Jasmine Mullins, Edward and Diana Ponce Krupa, Casey and Katrina Florig, Jason Hill, Jonathan Michelle Cooley, Tina Steinberg, Debbie Juno Jerome, Vaughn Montalago, Casey Collins, Anissa, Elizabeth Hanson Green, Jonathan Witten, and our very own Destin Baker. I know, Anissa, I'll just tear your name up. And a very special thank you to our camp mommy and poppy, Oscar and Casey.
And happy birthday to Jason Cohn.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You can check us out on our Facebook page, the podcast page, and then we have our group page that you have to we have to approve you to be on. That's where we play our games and give away monthly prizes. We also have Instagram where Aliza keeps it popping with Instagram posts. YouTube, so please subscribe to our YouTube if you haven't. We are also on Spotify and Twitter, and we do have our merchandise. And if you become a Patreon, you can be, what is it, 5? Is it? No, it's 10, 20, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
10 to 20.
$10, $20. And that gets you into Barb, your thing.
What?
No.
What?
Where are we at? My Echelon Briefings chat.
Mm-hmm.
There's a separate game for the Patreons
Mhm.
and prizes and fun, and we do a little bit more extra games for them throughout the week sporadically. So it's another little perk there.
And I think Carol's trying to think of an idea to a special thing for Patreons during the camp also.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're coming up with some ideas and stuff, so it'll be a lot of fun. We're excited about the things that we're going to be doing at the camp. And don't forget, we're also on IMDb.
Yes.
So as a reference.
And Carol keeps that popping.
I keep that
Absolutely.
So
Anything else we got, ladies?
I think
I think it was worth the wait.
yes.
It was. Absolutely.
We should have
Dawn?
showed him your From poster and you could have sent it to him.
Yeah, I've got to get some more copies. I'm waiting on Kurt to add AJ.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, All right.
So fun.
Well, thank you guys so much for being with us again.
Yes.
We miss your faces. We're all looking forward to the camp in May. We're super excited. And I apologize for whomever that Paul person was that was making negative comments in the chat. His comments have been deleted. We try to keep everything positive, and the actors work so hard to entertain us. They don't need to have that negativity in their lives, and neither do you. You guys deserve better than that.
Yeah, at first he was making certain comments. I thought maybe he was a friend of his busting his chops. But
Yeah.
But I went and tried to look his Facebook up, and there was like nothing. And so I thought, yeah. So Carol, thank you. I was just going to go in and delete him, but I appreciate you just double checking with David to make sure. So
yeah.
Barb, have an amazing time on your trip. We can't wait to see pictures when you get back.
yes.
Yes.
All right, guys. Good night. We love you.
Love you.